We are so proud to start a new initiative right here on Dawn of Sports. It's a leadership series. It's Her Playbook. And we're kicking it off with a spectacular conversation today. I welcome in Dan Bakken from CIB, which is Citizens Independent Bank. Thank you so much, Dan, for joining us. And I know that you're the Vice President of Business Banking, and you come with a huge, I should say, history of not only bringing success in terms of banking to the Twin Cities, but also being supportive of women in sports, your whole entire family. So thanks for joining us for this conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity.
You know, a lot of people might say, what is this lying down here? We have this spectacular book, which is The Extraordinary Life of an Ordinary Woman. And I take kind of issue with that because I think your grandmother was extraordinary. So Extraordinary Life of an Ordinary Woman who is extraordinary. I'm going to add that on
Thanks.
there. Connie Bakken. Connie Bakken, I know of your grandmother from years and years of covering the Gopher women basketball team. But not only was she a benefactor and a supporter, she was so much more. Your whole family loves sports. Not only women's sports, but just in general. When you grow up having a grandmother like Connie, who not only did that, helped your family, was a woman that got into banking and was successful that way as well. It's a lot of pressure for the younger kids to come, but what did that kind of trickle down to you and the rest of your family when you have a matriarch of that magnitude and that heart?
Yeah, well, at least, you know, my dad's got pretty big shoes to fill too.
Yes.
I'm third generation and actually have two younger brothers at the bank as well. So it's just like you mentioned, it's a great legacy to have. Some of that is in my blood, or some of the things that we do as far as community involvement, and we're a smaller community bank. So that social responsibility and the customers that we serve and the locations that we serve, a lot of that is preserving that legacy. It is big shoes to fill, but it makes the job purposeful for sure. And a lot of the challenges with that come with it are easier to move through.
You know, I love that you said that because there is sort of this social responsibility whenever you are an independent company and you are local, and then you start getting into the communities and you become one with them, kind of a piece like that. You're kind of, the fiber is bred that way. Have you found that a lot of people come back to your family that way? Like, I knew your grandmother, I know your dad, you know, the whole family. You're just woven together that way.
Yeah, for sure. And it's I'd say at the bank, you know, there's people that I don't even know that talk about my grandma or my dad in that way. And sometimes I'll put it this way: they might say, "Oh, I know your dad or grandma through this or this," but if they talk about banking school or a fun party they were at, sometimes I know that they knew them a little bit better than just casually. So I'll put it that way. It's less social responsibility. The social aspect of it is great because you meet it gives you the opportunity, banking, and especially smaller local bank, you meet a lot of different people and make a lot of friends that way too. So you're absolutely right. Tons of people that I'll run into that go, "Oh, you Connie's grandson?" I go, "Yeah, absolutely."
When you are Connie's grandson, you also grow up them knowing that my grandma is bad in a good way, right? Like,
Right.
She's a good woman in terms of she had to be tough. She had to be smart. She had to be ahead of her time in many respects to go into the world of banking. When you see women of her generation, whether it's Wall Street, banking, anything on the business side, you know that they had to have their wits about them. They had to be smart, but you also have to have a heart too, because you have to carry that legacy forward. What did you learn specifically, maybe from your grandmother setting that precedent as a woman in business?
Yeah, well, you're right. You do have to be tough, and being tough doesn't mean not having a heart, you know.
Right.
And I think I've learned that from my family, but as I continue on in the business too, and just like you said, at that time, that was an especially radical thing, and so that's kind of what's fun about the book. I don't know how widely available these are, if they're published or what, if you can look it up and find a copy, but it is a pretty interesting story, just how she had friends that discouraged her from going into banking or buying a bank because not in their minds, at least not that they were trying to put her down, but they didn't want to see her fail. And she kind of persevered through that as well.
Yeah, they did it out of love,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, we don't want to put yourself out there.
Yep.
And that's where that toughness comes in, right? That, well, I wasn't planning on failing,
Mm-hmm.
just watch me kind of thing, right?
Yep.
A little bit of sass, maybe.
Totally. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you really love that when we talk about this, that she identified as an ordinary woman? That's what I said. I don't know. I take issue when I see someone of that great magnitude that gave so much to a community, gave so much to her family, was smart at business, and then had that, not only the entrepreneurial side, but the charitable side.
Mm-hmm.
That's extraordinary to me. But yet she wanted to be known, from everything, all the research I've done, she wanted to be known as an ordinary woman.
Yeah. And like you said, sassy is totally a good way to say it, but she was humble too. Man, I mean, like, there's enough stories. Like, we had somebody, she was very fashionable too, and she was a big shopper. And she came in to the bank as she was kind of more of our board chair emeritus at that time. So she was coming into the office and just being able to visit with staff and customers. And one of our staff at the time, she had like an alligator coat on, or like alligator pattern, and somebody was teasing her about, oh, well, isn't that kind of not cool anymore to have alligator, as soon as she goes, it was dead when I found it. There's just stuff like that.
It's dead when I found it. It's still dead, and it's still cool to me, right? She's bringing it back.
Totally.
That's what I loved about that. When she really stood up for, I should say, the Gopher women's basketball team. You and I spoke a little bit before we sat down, and I saw some pictures of when Pam Borton said, this is what we need. And your grandmother did not bat an eye to not only step up and fill the need of getting them a locker room, financial support, but was there, like, loved them so much. Yeah. Can you tell us more about why she just loved sports so much, but especially so the Gopher women?
Yeah, well, again, kind of in addition to when she was starting in business in the 80s, she was just aware of where there were gaps and opportunities for women. And so, kind of like I mentioned, we were chatting before the podcast, I think a lot of the interest initially came from her going to those games with my mom, Mary, and then Debbie Burchett is a longtime family friend of ours. And she was connected to Pam by somebody, or a friend introduced her and basically asked her, well, what do you need? And she said, well, a locker room for one. So that was what kind of kicked off the support she gave to them over the years. And like, my one humble brag is Pam Borton came out with a leadership book. I think it was at least 5 or more years ago, and I don't remember what it's called. But I was at a Twin West Chamber of Commerce event, and so I just went up and chatted with her, and she knew exactly who my grandma was and was happy to chat. So it's not like I know her personally, but that was just kind of fun.
Yeah. And Pam kind of reminds me a little bit of what your grandmother stood for in terms of being leadership based, and also relationship based. Which comes with being a local independent bank, right? You have to have relationships with people. It just can't be it's ironic. A bank is all about transactions, but when you're dealing with people, you can't be transactional.
Right.
And I think Pam is like that as well. You're playing basketball, you're here for a reason. I want you to be a leader, but there needs to be relationships.
Yep.
What in your family is important relationship wise that maybe, Connie said, this is the Bakken way, or led by example that way?
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to the social responsibility, a lot of our mission, honesty and integrity. It's just that our success as a business it comes from that, and vice versa. It's not something we do just for the notoriety or to advertise. I mean, those things are good, but the kind of people we hire are aligned with that mission. We're not looking for somebody necessarily who just knows their role and goes home at the end of the day. And we support every employee in different initiatives that they might come up with, or different community activities they want to serve on, so that business and personal kind of blends together, and not in a bad way. It's there's always some kind of opportunity to be supportive of an individual, community organization, both in and outside of work, with this career. So that's what I love about it.
I love how your family is, first of all, synonymous with innovation and also business and also altruistic ventures. Whether it's from the bank, whether it's from the Bakken Museum, or whether it's from your grandmother donating whatever they need for the Go First and not only have a locker room, but for the young women to succeed. You must be so proud to take that family heritage and carry it with you.
Yeah, thanks. I am. And it's, I guess I've kind of spoken to it. It's something that sustains me. You know, there's plenty of things I probably could be doing. And it's just, I appreciate the opportunity I've got at the bank for everything I've kind of said. It's not just a job to me, but it's a legacy to uphold. And it's something that gives me a lot of purpose. And it's same thing that I mentioned with kind of who we hire at the bank, you know, starting with my grandma. It's, she made sure to have diverse backgrounds to build a stronger team. And it's interesting for me to be able to, and fulfilling to be able to learn from different people, of different backgrounds. And, it's the way that we localize our decision-making. We're smaller. You can get a hold of somebody on the phone easily. We kind of leave it up to each other to know what to do in certain situations, or improvise if there's something we haven't encountered before. So it's fun for me to see other people grow in that way too, that they might not think of themselves as a leader or somebody of major responsibility, and they kind of turn into that.
What I admire about your grandmother, though, is she set the standard that a woman could be smart, she can be a leader, she can be loving, and that she can open people's perspectives as to who can be in charge.
Right.
Right. Not only women, minorities. Like, she set that standard, and that's just something that is done for you.
Yeah.
Right. It's not, oh, we should try more in this area. That is a basic standard that your family has set.
Totally. Yep.
That must be incredible to be able to pass on to everyone you meet, everyone in your family, future generations, something you can be proud of that way as an intangible.
Yeah.
Not only the business, but that.
Yeah. And that work, having that same kind of culture, preserving that culture, you know, things may evolve or ebb and flow over time, but that's really her personality in a lot of that. And that's what helps us in our business strengths too, or whether it's commercial or for consumer customers, that gives us strength there as well.
Before I let you go, if there's one thing that you can tell anyone listening to this or watching this, if they were to meet your grandmother tomorrow, let's just say we could go back in time and they could meet your grandmother tomorrow, how would you set them up? How would you preface it? You know, like, you're going to meet my grandmother.
Yeah.
And this is what to expect.
You know, in an ironic way, I probably wouldn't prepare them so much, because she was so good at opening people up. She had kind of that sassiness, or she had a deadpan sense of humor that I think a lot of our family, that's what's the word I'm looking for, kind of unique to us. But also, if you're a big coffee drinker, that was kind of like what she would go around the office doing, is she was always drinking coffee. She was always kind of connecting people that way too.
Fashionable with her alligator on.
Totally.
Drinking coffee with the one-liners, the sass, a little bit of that deadpan wit, if you will. Oh, I wish I had met her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she has a great legacy. Your family is doing amazing things. She must be up there being so proud of everything that you and your family has done.
I like to think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. And for setting the example of what this leadership series is about.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Don. Thanks to Jim for setting it up, and Tammy as well. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you.